Look at me. You look at the people. I'm scared. I want to make sure I'm in the shot. And you will have to sit properly.
Why?
One day you can be missing your bums. Up. What's up guys, it's Sanyu and I'm back again with another video for you guys after disappearing for some days. If you're new here, my name is Sanyu and I make faith-based and lifestyle content here on YouTube. In today's video, we have a very special guest joining us, my mom, Barbara Kiwempindi. She's going to be answering some pressing questions that you guys have and want to ask your parents but are too scared to. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Hi mommy, welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you for joining us.
Hi Sanyu, I'm happy to be here and I hope I'll be helpful.
So going into the first question is, what is the right age for dating?
Okay, thank you for that question Sanyu, and I feel privileged that I should be able to answer that question. Okay, so dating is a terminology that by definition it's quite loose. Dating, the way it's defined, if you try to Google it or try to break it down, dating is defined as a relationship that is pretty much loose. Young man, young lady, or even elderly people actually who are not married, okay? They are in a relationship to which they are not committed. They are not committed to each other. They don't intend to achieve anything in that relationship. Essentially, there'll be no fruit that will come out of it, okay? The only thing that they basically are looking forward to is to be romantically involved with no strings attached. That is dating. So from the word go, I would say it's a wrong terminology, okay? As far as I'm concerned, it's a wrong terminology. I would be more comfortable if we replaced it with courtship, especially if I'm speaking to young people like you, Sanyu, my daughter. Instead of using the terminology dating, I would rather you use the word courtship. Matter of factly, even believers, okay, young Christians, I think it would be better to adopt the word courtship rather than dating because of the meaning. Now, when we replace dating with courtship essentially means a young lady and a young man who have reached an age at which they feel they are ready to begin to prepare to get married, and they are ready to begin to look around and begin to relate with a person of the opposite sex in the view of building a strong, a tie which would lead to them taking the oath of marriage. Okay, now during a courtship, ordinarily it's a relationship where you are just getting to know each other. You are not under any contract, but you are serious with each other, serious enough that if you find each other to be suitable mates, you will get engaged. Okay, and you will finally walk down the altar and get married, get into the contract of marriage. Okay, that is courtship. So now dating, like I said, it's a very loose terminology, though all the same the question that was posed used the word dating. So I think I can still answer the question with the same kind of replacement that I'm trying to make. Okay, so what's the right age? I think it is the age at which, first of all, someone is done at least with high school. Okay? It's very subjective. It's too subjective. But for me, for guidance purposes, so that a young person is not derailed and also reaches the age of full maturity, I think at least you should be done with high school. Secondly, you should be able to understand what that dating or courtship is. What is your reason for entering into that relationship? That is number 2. Number 3, you should also be able to understand the consequences of the relationship that you are entering into, the commitments, okay, in the relationship. And you should be free to talk about the relationship with your parents. If you are not yet ready to tell your parents that you want to begin dating, as you would like to say, maybe you don't want to use courtship, maybe you think courtship is a bit old-fashioned, okay? You should be ready to talk to your parents about it, to say, Mom, Dad, I'm really, considering to begin dating this person who's been my friend, and now I feel like, serious about them, and I would like to date them. Okay, essentially what I'm saying is you should be able to be transparent. If you're not ready for that transparency, you are not even ready to go into the relationship at all. Okay, you should be very comfortable, because when you're comfortable to talk about the dating or the courtship, you will get guidance. Okay, as you relate something that you're not comfortable with, or whatever red flag you see which may not be that serious, you go back to your parents and tell them, or consult about what has happened in the relationship and that kind of thing, and you get guidance. You should be mentally mature to make decisions that are not influenced by lust, okay, or peer pressure, okay? Because usually as young people, you want to enter a relationship for wrong reasons, because you think this guy looks cool, or this girl is whatever, I don't know. I'm not sure what terminology you use, but you are just attracted physically. That is wrong. For starters, that is wrong. You should enter into dating at the age at which you are able to make decisions using your head, not your feelings. If you can use your head, you can speak to your parents about it, and you know that the relationship that you are entering into, you are ready to take things further, to become more serious, to get committed, then I will say you are ready to begin dating or to be to a courtship, okay? But also, if you are a man, you should also have it.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Probably a means, if you're beginning to enter a relationship with plans of getting married, how are you going to take care of that lady when you get married?
Okay, Mommy, I have a question.
Yes.
So what if, for example, you said they should have a livelihood, but what about someone who's in university? Like, not someone who has a livelihood, but they have like a direction, like, okay, we can say that this person has like plans for the future and they are working towards that.
If someone has plans for the future and they are working towards their plans, it's absolutely okay for them to begin to court a young lady with intentions of entering a serious relationship. The only thing that may come in is now to begin to have timelines, okay? When I begin working, maybe when I've saved at this particular point, I'll take the relationship a bit further so that maybe serious things can come out of it. Yes.
Okay. We can move on to the... Okay, what about me? When can I start dating? Like, what if next year, for example, or next year, this year, for example, I find someone and I talk to them, maybe they've been my friend, and then I feel like, okay, I want to get to know this person, like in terms of like maybe 10 years, 8 years from now, I see myself married to this person.
Sanyu, I think you are still a bit too young, in my view, because you have asked me. I will tell you, 17-year-old.
I'm turning 18, mommy. I'm turning 18, mommy.
Emotionally, a 17-year-old is still too young to begin dating. Okay? I think when you are 20, 21, I would really think that emotionally you are much stronger. Okay? Because also young people, sometimes they tend to have emotions which are a bit volatile.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Well, that's my view. That's my view.
Okay.
When you have grown up a bit more,
Mommy, I'm turning 18. Anyways, we'll discuss.
we'll discuss.
Why can't we hang out with friends of the opposite sex at home, in brackets, while we are there?
Who said you can't hang out with the friends of the opposite sex while we are there? If you're hanging out in a decent way, there's nothing wrong with that. And I really mean hanging out in a decent way. Your friends have come, maybe you are chatting, you sit
Playing
outside.
games.
Yes, playing games, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong.
Cool.
Because actually, essentially, that means you're being transparent. So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you one of the worst fears. No, I think I'll talk about two. Number one, and top of the list, getting married to a wrong person. It will, for me, it will just mess you up. It will mess up your entire life if you get married to the wrong person. So that is top of the list for my fears. Okay, whether for my daughters or for my sons, my number one prayer for my children is that they get married to the right person. Secondly, failing in your career. I really, for me personally, it's another fear that I have.
Okay. Are you okay with your child growing up and having no money but are happy? Are you okay with me growing up and having a happy life but I'm broke?
You see, that question, it's a question that I think is coming from a young person who has no experience about life. Okay? Because you see, sometimes as young people, you really think that life is like what you read in the books, fairy tales, you know, Cinderella stories. That's what you really think life is about. I'll tell you that life is much more serious than that. Yeah, because sometimes you read in fairy tale books that you meet Prince Charming and you are happy, you have nothing, and you live happily ever after. In real life, it's very, very different. Okay, because first of all, not having money. Also, I'll tell you, most parents, it's not about wanting their children to have money. Maybe sometimes if you think, oh, maybe because my parents have money, they also want me to have money. It's not really about that. Parents are misunderstood. What parents want, they want their children to work hard. They want their children to be successful. They want their children to have a means of earning a decent livelihood. Okay? What I want for you is I want you to have a means of earning a living. It's not all people who are in prison who really ordinarily are hardcore criminals. Some of them find themselves in the situations of compromise because they are lacking in the area of money, the means to earn a living. Okay, you don't have money, you end up stealing, you end up doing all sorts of wrong things because you don't have money. So what we want you guys to work hard and be able to take care of yourselves when you are grown up.
Next question. If I like someone, do you want me to tell you?
I would like you to be transparent enough to tell me. Not just anyone you like, because again, as a human being, sometimes you like people, okay? So it's not everyone that you like that you should tell me about. But when things begin to get serious, I think you should be able to confide in me. You should be transparent enough to confide in your parents.
I like someone. I'm joking. I'm not joking.
It was at this moment that he knew.
I'm joking.
No,
Uta. It's just a joke.
I'll hear more about that.
Okay.
we are not as parents necessarily against you guys marrying young. You know, our role as parents is to mentor you, isn't it? Our role is to guide you, to give you advice, and to try to give you this perspective of life from an experience point of view, because we've been through this age and we've been through whatever years that you are living, you know, after us. We have been through that phase, and what we are trying to do is to show you that, look, if you made this decision at this particular point, these are the pitfalls that are there. Okay, it's not necessarily that we are against. Yeah. As in me?
Yes.
That is a question to me.
Yes.
Okay, I always wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to speak with people and to write people's stories. I think that was always my passion, really. I'd never thought of anything else to do apart from just speaking with people, writing their stories, and using my mouth to tell stories. Basically, that was it.
Okay. This one is from me now.
Okay.
What's the one annoying thing that your kids did or do as teenagers that you wish they never did, or you wish they would stop doing?
Teenagers, the most annoying thing up until now is messing up their rooms and throwing their stuff all over. I think that's the most annoying thing that I've ever had to deal with my teenagers.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am. Am I the villain? I don't think I'm the villain.
And I wish they could stop doing that. I wish they could be more organized.
Okay. Someone asked, why are they so protective that they can't even allow us to make mistakes?
Okay, now that one, why can't they even, I'll just speak, why can't they allow us to make mistakes? You see, again, I'll repeat, parents themselves have made mistakes which they have lived to regret, irreversible. Okay, there are mistakes that you make in life that can be reversed. Okay, you can learn that you don't do things like this, and then you can be able to remedy. Unfortunately, there are mistakes which can at worst even be fatal. There are mistakes which have consequences that you have to live with for the rest of your life. The wise, they learn from other people's mistakes. Okay, fools, they do what? They repeat other people's mistakes. So essentially what the parents are trying to do, they have made mistakes themselves. Since we have already learned from our own mistakes, we want you to avoid those pitfalls. Okay.
Okay. Then why do a lot of adults get defensive when you try to address an issue with them? And how do you want us to address issues with you?
Okay, adults may get defensive because first of all, they are adults, they are older than you. Okay, they are supposed to be your teachers, they are supposed to be your mentors. But then, you know, in Bemba we have a saying that amano yalafu mamu ifwesa. Ifwesa is a small anthill. Okay, it's very tiny, like anthill, but very, very tiny. Okay, in Bemba we say, you know, a young person can have wisdom that can guide a situation even better than a big person. When you see something that an older person cannot see, that's the way I address it. You need to use wisdom, use respect. You know, just because you know you are smarter in an area than an older person doesn't mean that you should approach that older person without respect or go and confront them, as the young people nowadays like doing. Okay. Young people nowadays, they can be quite confrontational, and no older person, for example your mom, your dad, they will not take it very lightly. The best you do is approach the situation with a lot of respect, and you know, try to use apply wisdom in the way that you speak with them. Speak with them with respect. They will appreciate your contribution or whatever issue that you have with them. They are going to appreciate it. If it's very sensitive, what I can advise, maybe engage another older person. Speak to another older person who can address the issue with them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, how do you fight temptation with your boyfriend before marriage?
Okay. Back to the first discussion we are having on dating and courtship. Now, I'll assume that this is not just your boyfriend. This is not just your boyfriend. It's someone you're courting, isn't it?
Oh yes.
You are in a courtship before marriage. Now, how you fight temptation or how you avoid temptation? First and foremost, when you begin courting, you must use your head. Sit down and speak. Okay? Agree that you are going to draw the line
Set
here.
boundaries.
Yes.
Clearly.
Agree that this relationship we have entered, it is a relationship for marriage. So if you are a Christian, you will be courting a fellow Christian, and you agree, both of you, that crossing the red line is sin. Okay, so you agree this relationship, these will be the boundaries, and we are going to support each other in ensuring that we do not cross this boundary. We avoid temptation. There are a number of things that you can do. For example, never compromise in the places where you find yourselves. Always, always have what I would call a safety net. Don't be in a room locked up, the two of you, for a long time. Why are you locking yourselves up? It means you are setting yourselves up. Okay. Even when it comes to body contact, you should have a limit. Okay, you should know this is how far we can go. Do not cross the boundary, because if you cross the boundary, it will be deliberate. It will be deliberate. It means you really want the temptation to come to you. That's why you are doing that. Okay. And then also the other thing I should do, thing is, Sanyu, what I should tell you is, from the word go, you should be able to read the mind of the person you are entering a relationship with. At the expense of sounding to be sexist, I think I would say that especially girls, look at the young man that you are about to start courting and try as much as possible to read their intentions. Usually for girls, you don't enter a relationship with the motive of being romantically involved. But usually young men tend to be not so serious. And they tend to have motives of maybe just using you and then moving on. Okay, so you really have to be very, very careful the way you select your partner. That is not to say that young ladies also may not be involved in yes. Even girls are involved, because girls also, the problem is that they tend to be emotionally carried. Okay, emotionally they are so carried. So sometimes it will depend on the young man also to exercise control, to say, no, this is what we have agreed, this should be the boundaries, we cannot be the two of us at this time in this kind of place, or it cannot be the two of us in this locked up in this room. It means we are just trying to expose ourselves to temptation. So that is really essentially how you avoid temptation. Is know where the weaknesses are likely to show up, or know the situation which is likely to bring compromise to both of you, and avoid that kind of situation. Well, tattoos and piercing, initially, I would say that initially when tattoos and piercings started, we would relate it to demonic activities, mostly. But lately, I've seen tattoos. Maybe somebody has their name, okay, tattooed somewhere. Maybe it's a rose, just a rose flower tattooed somewhere. And to be honest, I think what I would like to say is it depends on the reasoning behind that tattoo. What's the inspiration? Okay, what has inspired you to do that tattoo? If the inspiration is wrong, you are just setting yourself up for demonic attack, demonic invasion and that kind of thing. The motivation is not wrong. Maybe you have a rose flower because you love roses. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then on piercing, I think piercing should just be decent, honestly. That's really what I can say. For example, why should you leap, just awkward places? What I'm talking about is decency. Whatever we do, let us do it, in a way that portrays decency. Sometimes ask even maybe your parents, ask your mother. Okay, if you're suspicious of your mother, as you usually are, ask your sisters, or your peers, or your cousins. Generally, they'll have their opinion and they'll tell you, what? This level of piercing does not look decent. Or this level of tattooing does not look decent. Now, as a young person, I think it really is a good thing to portray yourself to the world in a decent way. It shouldn't always be about, no, this is what I like, I have a right to look whichever. You're looking weird. And you think you have a right to look weird. Okay, go ahead and look weird. It's up to you. If a crime is committed, you'll be the first suspect. Those things, they happen. Sanyu, those things happen.
Yeah.
A crime is committed because there is no one to accuse. They look around, they find someone who's looking weird, and that's the first person they're going to point at. Okay, that will be you find that did this guy pass around there? Because they're trying to see who has a weird mind. Because you see, what you do with your body, essentially, it speaks about the conversations that you have with yourself. I know there are young people who just want to look weird. Why do you want to look weird? Whom do you want to scare? So, any other question?
I think those are all the questions we had. Do you have any questions you would like to ask me that you've always wanted to ask but never? Obviously not you're scared to, but never gotten the chance to.
Never gotten the chance to. As about what age do you really think that you'll be ready to date? Courtship. When I say date, I mean a courtship.
Okay, I'll give my answer, then I'll give reasoning behind my answer.
Yes, tell me. Let me hear you.
I honestly think I'll be ready to start dating when I'm 18.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Because I honestly think I'll be ready to start dating or courting at 18, because I've always felt like I want to be married by the time I'm 27, 26. And for me, I feel like just from the friendships I have, the ones that have lasted the longest, or the ones that I'm closest to, I've known them for a long period of time. So I feel like when I start dating, I'm going to want to date the person for or court the person, or they'll court me, however that works, for at least 8-10 years. So that's my reasoning behind that.
But do you really think that you'll be able to be focused at college?
Yeah, because
While in a serious courtship? Especially in the early years?
Because I feel like if I'm ready to start dating, then I'm also ready to know how to manage my time management, and all that.
Well, that's the only question. The other questions they will be asked later. They shall follow. Other questions
Follow-up questions. That's the only question you ever wanted to ask me.
Yeah. The other questions I'll ask you. I can ask you anytime. That's the question I wanted to ask you now.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much, and I hope you find some of my content helpful.
I'm sure we will.
Okay.
Well guys, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and switch on the notification bell for more interesting content like this. That's a wrap. Love you guys and thank you for the support.
Yours.